Okay, as always, one click on random generator for names and let's go! This will either be a very short or just a short chapter, as we're either ignoring all the cats or we're just telling them that we're not helping them from the start. It was a long boat journey. My legs are a bit wobbly as I make my way up the wooden jetty to meet the security guard who has come to collect me. ID? I rummage about in my bag until I find the laminated security pass I was issued with on the mainland. I like how they're very punctual with months, even though I don't think we last a full 2-month duration. Come on then, follow me. I have to walk at quite a pace to keep up with him. He's not the social type, so we trek along in silence until we're in camp and outside a large tent. He's waiting for you in there. Glad to have you on board, Joan. Shall we just go through a few formalities and then call it a day so that you can get some rest before you start work properly tomorrow? Sounds good to me, sir. So first, shall we have a little refreshment? I'll have a small whiskey. It's a bit early in the day, but sure, why not? I'll have a small whiskey. Jolly good! I can tell you and I are gonna get along fabulously. He takes a huge gulp from the bottle before passing it to me. Try not to show my consternation and surreptitiously wipe the neck with my sleeve before taking a reluctant sip. We spent the next hour going through my kit, all typical stuff apart from my super gadget. It's called a catalog and it does all sorts of swanky things, even plays music. I meet some of the local cats and learn how to scam them with it, which was a lot of fun. Finally, I've shown to my tent to settle in for the night. While I'm unpacking, I find something very interesting under my bed. It's the personal journal of the previous research assistant, the one before me. As I read, I begin to discover that there is a lot more going on here than I was told about. It's hard to believe this stuff is true. Maybe the last researcher was prone to flights of fancy. Still, it makes great bedtime story material, and I stay up reading up until my eyelids begin to close. In spite of my best efforts to read to the end, I drift into deep sleep. Awake with a start, I can hear the rustling of paper coming from the tent flap. It's a cat with something in its mouth. It has the journal. Wait! But it has run off into the night. I'm chasing the cat at full speed into the forest. I must get that book back. It has everything I need to know in it. I start to feel woozy and I realize too late that I've been strayed into the danger zone. I'm going to be sick. I close my eyes tight and drop to my knees. I open my eyes. A calico cat is standing in front of me. Drops the journal from its mouth. I pass out. Hello? Can you hear me? By the way, yes. When you're really successful at romanticizing at least once, there's an extra cat that appears. Are you okay? Here we go again. Move back a bit. Let them breathe. Has it been bitten? Yes, definitely bitten. Look at its hand. I bring my hand up to my face and through blurry vision I can make out several scratches and puncture marks. Is this real? I saw something in the journal about kidnapping. Catnapping! We're sorry, it was the only way. My head has begun to clear and I realized that if I can talk to these cats, not only is it all true, but it's already too late. I have the sickness. We need to have a talk, human. No, we don't. I know what's going on. It got sickness. That's why I can hear you. Well done! You really did read it. Most of it, yes. So I wasn't entirely wasting my time. Hang on, are you? You'll figure it out. It's not my problem anymore. The mysterious cat slinks off towards the forest area. Oh, don't worry about them. They're preoccupied elsewhere. So are you gonna help us or not? No. Help you? After what you did to me? How could I even trust you? You steal from me, put me in mortal danger, lie to get what you want? What would you do in my situation? Ouch! This ludicrous story about werecats is enough to make me think I might be going insane. So no, it's up to you to sort out whatever is going on here. We'll have enough on my hands looking after myself. Lame. What did I tell you? I knew this human lacked the intellect and stamina to be part of our research. You rude, self-opinionated moggy. I would sooner turn into a cat than help you. There is a shocked silence. Slowly, the small calico cat pads up to me. I'm so sorry, human. If there was some way I could help you, I would. Trixie begins to sob quietly before turning away. My eyesight begins to blur, but I can just about make out the cats retreating into the thick growth of the forest. Despite becoming more and more tired and foggy, I somehow make my way back to the research area, and that's it, really. I did plenty of work over the next few weeks on Cat Island, but I can't remember much of it. Time seems to have slipped by without me even noticing. Sure, I did a lot of good, interesting work here on the island, but I just can't recall any of it. Only vague memories. At the end of the day, I'm really not that bothered. It all feels a bit like distant dream to me now. Stretch out in the sand, enjoying the midday sun on my fur, lazily licking my paws clean of scraps left over from my morning feed. Meow! Relationship status single! That's interesting. Okay, let's do... Ending achieved anti-hero. That's nice. Let's do another one. Let's... Yeah, I'm gonna properly do at least 2, but... Yeah, let's go with the Reen. And... I'm just gonna do just the research to see if I can get off the island without them noticing that I'm carrying the disease. What an amazing journey. I've always enjoyed being out on the open waters, and this was really smooth sailing. Almost skip off the wooden jetty to be greeted by a burly man in a security jacket. ID? I rummage about in my bag until I find the laminated security pass I was issued with on the mainland. Yep, they're keeping up with those 2-month things still. Come on then, Skipper, follow me. Lucky, this guy isn't the sociable type, so I can take in the sights without distraction while whiz along the forest path. It all looks so lush and green. The boss is in there. Glad to have you on board, Doreen. Shall we just go through a few formalities and then call it a day? Yeah. Sounds good to me. What would you like as refreshment? I'll have some coffee. I would offer you Irish, but we're out of whiskey unless the gin just plain is great. Thanks for me. The rest is Dave's preoccupied with procedural stuff. Showing around the island. The thing that stands out is my catalog. Blah-de blah-de blah, the regular startup stuff. As I'm setting into my tent, I make a discovery that really catches my attention. It's the notebook that was obviously written by my predecessor. What could my predecessor even write, having in mind that I just kinda spent some time on my own? They left it under my bed, which is as good as an invitation to read it as far as I'm concerned. Thinking maybe first draft of a novel, and that's not bad either. They certainly have vivid imagination. There are bizarre stories about talking cats and other island anomalies, who are obviously very inspired by their surroundings. I must say, it's a great read. Imagine it if it were true. I laugh a little at my fantasy as I snuggle down from my first sleep on Cat Island. Sometime in the middle of the night, I'm woken by an intruder in my tent. Before my brain can catch up with what's going on, I've leaped from my bed, shouting, "Who's there?" I scramble around for a few seconds before I realize that the notebook has been taken. next thing I know, I'm running through the forest barefoot, chasing what looks like a cat. That is insane. A wave of nausea rises up in me, and I realize that I've become perilously close to the danger zone. And obviously we black out again. Trixie gives us our stuff back. Yeah, caught us a live one! Move back, child. Let's let them breathe, or they won't be alive much longer. As my brain begins to defuzz, I realize that this is what I was reading about in the novel. Only it wasn't a novel at all. My stomach tightens to a knot. It was a journal! Focus my eyes and pick out the big marmalade cat. Have I been bitten? Well, of course you have been bitten. How else will you be able to hear us? This one's an idiot. Don't be rude. The calico cat turns to me. You know about being bitten? You read the journal? Most of it. Enough to understand what's happening here, Kara. Enough to know you have a choice to make. Yeah, I'll help the kitties. We have to help each other. Bravo! So let's cut to the chase. We've already done the chase bit. Hush now. What do you need to know, human? Still a bit dazed and in shock. Everything, really. At that moment, my catalog starts beeping. It's telling me I have 15 minutes to get back to camp and start my first day at work. I have to go. Let me get myself together and we can catch up later. I have a feeling you're going to do very well, Kara. The best one yet. I'm just about to enter the lab to begin my legitimate work when catalog beeps. It's a message without any contact information. In the calm water, everything has a... Audience, please tell me what it said, because I couldn't read that fast. What? I don't even. No, I just have had enough mystery as a person can handle for one day. If you wanna be anonymous, I should take it you also don't mind being ignored. The professor is already working when I arrive, but I'm not late, so there is no fuss. I get through the day as effectively as possible and head back to my tent. As soon as my work is done, I want to get to grips with finding out all I can. Okay, so the plan is to just do research 3 times over. Just to see what happens, because remember guys, while I'm playing this for you, I'm also playing it for myself, and I'm really curious because I haven't done all of these things. And I think for the other 2 people, we'll try to go the proper route again, do the full romance thingy, maybe fail it a bit, you know, investigate the mystery a little bit, but for chapter 4, just let me have my fun. Field work. I'll do DIY. Why not? I'm writing my journal. I've developed a habit of getting up early and writing for 30 minutes each morning before I begin my day. I'm often so tired at the end of the day that I just want to fall into bed and my journal gets neglected. Also, I like the way it grounds me before the strange island sucks me into the adventure of a new day. This morning, my concentration is being broken by a very odd noise, and I suddenly realize it's the sound of someone trying to knock on my tent flap. Hello? Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. I recognize the voice as belonging to Mr. Marigold, the Iceland caretaker. Oh, good morning, Mr. Marigold. Spring up to greet him. Can I help you? I would invite you in, but... I indicate the chaos of my tiny tent. Barely room to swing a cat, I know. I laugh at his joke, but notice his deadpan expression and realize he's serious. Quickly move on to stepping outside. Is there something I can help you with? I hope so. And that would be... Miss Marigold has taken to her bed. Proper sick she is. So the boss said I should ask you to fill in for her today. Is that alright? I know the professor well enough by now to understand that I don't actually have a choice. I am filling in for Miss Marigold today whether it's alright with me or not. Actually, I'm quite intrigued. Great! I mean, I'm sorry to hear your wife's poorly. Nothing serious, I hope? But I'm happy to spend some time with you, Mr. Marigold. Well, best make an early start then. Get your shoes on and I'll meet you at the jetty. And before I can say another word, he's disappeared off towards the water. Quickly put my journal back in its hidey hole and grab my backpack with the field kit in it before stuffing my feet into my trainers. When I arrive at the jetty, I can see that Mr. Marigold has already started work mending the wooden rail when a couple of the posts were damaged in a recent storm. How can I help? Just pass me those pins as I go along. Need to reinforce this and then recoat it with preservative. I'm a bit disappointed. Just so you know, I can use a hammer too. If you have a spare, we could get this mended much quicker with the two of us working on it. There's no rush. Oh no, I suppose not. You're here with me the whole day anyway. Oh, I didn't mean that. Actually, I'm pleased for the opportunity to break out a bit, try something different. Bored of this place already? He squints sideways at me. No, not at all. There's so much going on here, I haven't even begun to uncover half of what this island has to offer, I'm sure. I just meant it's nice to have the chance to get to know someone new. Company is in short supply here. Human company. He mumbles it half under his breath, so I'm not certain he even said it. I beg your pardon? You seem to be getting on with the cats though, eh? Oh yes, I've spoiled for choice with feline friends. Be careful with that. I stop and look at him. He holds my gaze. What do you mean? Be careful with those pins. You're going to have them over the edge in a minute. I look down and see that I'm not paying attention. I have kicked the box perilously close to the edge of the jetty. Closer to the edge than you thought? I get a feeling we're not just talking about a box of nails. Yes, I wasn't paying attention. Looking in the wrong direction. That's when we miss things right under our nose that could cause problems. Mr. Marigold. We stopped what we were doing and standing up now, looking directly into each other's eyes. Do you know something I ought to know? Such as? Well, obviously, I don't know. I know you're an inquisitive little writer. Have you been watching me, Mr. Marigold? Keeping an eye might be a more accurate way of putting it. Well, thank you, I think. You're welcome, but I wouldn't be so quick to trust people if I were you. You don't know me or my intentions. And suddenly he lets out a roar of laughter and gets back to work. I have a feeling you're one of those good guys, Mr. Marigold. Call me Mason. I hand him pins, and we say no more, but as I go over a conversation in my head, I realize I've heard those words before, or something like them. The nameless message on my catalog, be careful who you trust, and it hits me. Mr. Marigold is the messenger. Let's do more research. Let's see if we can find something more interesting. Yeah, I'll do research 1. Research 1 seems interesting. Doreen, I have a very important job for you today. It's quite a tricky one, but you've proven yourself to be very capable, and I'm certain you can handle it. Follow me. I have a little lady I'd like you to meet. The professor leads me to the research lab in the forest, but instead of going in, he takes me to an area around the back. This is our brave little nugget, Ravenpaw. She has to be isolated over here, don't you, Missy? The professor reaches into the cage, which just stood on a table, and picks up the tiny black cat that's sleeping inside. Such a good girl, aren't you? We keep her here, away from the others, because the poor thing is very unwell. Can you see this nasty rash? Professor Pauper hides out one of the cat's paws for me to inspect. It's red and swollen. Ravenclaw looks at me with her big, watery eyes, one blue, one brown. I'm probably watering because of the medication she's on, but it makes her look as if she's pleading with me. She doesn't seem to be able to eat without assistance either, poor thing. We've been treating her as best as we can, but I'm not sure if she'll make it. Perhaps not even to the end of the week. Professor lets out a sad sigh. Have my fingers crossed though. We don't give up on any of these cats. Do we, Ravenpaw? No, we don't. We're going to try and get you all better. She's such a pretty cat. Her eyes are enchanting, aren't they? She's a very pretty cat indeed. And she knows it too, you can tell. You know what a pretty little thing you are, don't you? Reach out to stroke Ravenpaw, but she struggles away from my hand. Ah, she's getting cranky. I think we kept Grumpy Paws her away for too long. He puts her gently back into the cage and locks it shut. Ravenpaw seems to fall asleep instantly. Hope I don't distress her. Of course not, Doreen. She's usually very wary of humans before she gets to know them. When I first found the poor thing on the beach, she almost scratched my eyes out, in spite of her terribly fragile state she was in. Professor Slime smiles at the memory. Such a little trooper. She was half dead at first. She's gotten a lot better since then. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised to see her pull through this. I do hope so, Professor. Quite. Now, the reason I brought you here is because, regrettably, I won't be able to see Ravenpaw personally any longer. It's a pity, as she used to need me now, but there's nothing for it. I've been given extra workload recently, and I need to share out a few of my odd jobs to accommodate for it. I thought you would be the ideal person to look after Ravenpaw for me. I've taken aback that the professor has trusted me with such responsibility. It's quite flattering until I remember that he doesn't have much choice, me being the only assistant on the island. Every day she requires a change of dressing, a dose of medication, some cream rubbed onto her rashes, and a syringe full of nutrient milk. This can be quite distressing for her, so I like someone with a nice and patient manner to take over for me. Would you be interested? Of course, sir. I'd love to help out in any way I can. That's what I'm here for. Oh, splendid! I'm so glad. I think you and Ravenpaw will get along famously before too long. She has such a sweet nature. I look forward to it, sir. Could you start now? Oh, of course. Tip-top. I should be in the lab if you need me for anything. Please don't be afraid to give me a shout. I'm terribly sorry to burden you with this all so suddenly, but I have a lot of work to do right now. Okay, Professor. I feel a little apprehensive as I watch Professor Pawpaw retreat into the lab. Didn't realize I'd be expected to do everything right now without training or anything. I remind myself that this isn't like an ordinary lab back home. I must strive to adapt to the higgledy-piggledy way things are done in here. I take a deep breath. Change your dressing, I can do that. Hello, pretty kitty. I'm very sorry, but I have to disturb you. Small cat lets out a sad mew as I lift her out of her cage. Oh, I know, life isn't fair. Now, where are your dressings? I put Ravenpaw next to the cage on the table. She lays down compliantly. She obviously knows the routine. She has a large bandage on the side of her ribs. I begin to gently remove it, trying hard not to pull on her skin too much. Well, I suppose if we're going to do this every single day, we might as well get to know each other, right? So... Hello, my name is Doreen. I'm quite new here. I know your name already, Ravenpaw. Nice name. I bet the professor named you. Certainly knows how to pick them, doesn't he? The cat tenses as I remove the last of the plaster and reveal a scar on a patch of bare skin where the professor was shaved over surgery. Oh dear, that scar looks very tender. I should clean it. Is that right, Ravenpaw? Let me look. There are some drawers under the table and I quickly find some antiseptic gel and cotton pads. Now, Ravenpaw, I'm going to level with you. This is going to sting a bit, but please don't take it out on me. I'm doing this for your own good, okay? Trust me, do not want to scar this to become infected. That would be disastrous. Cat stays perfectly still while I wipe at her scar. She doesn't even make a noise. Now I'm gonna say I'm impressed and a little disquieted. Wow, you are a brave girl, aren't you? Well done. When I was a child, I cut my arm on some thorns and had to have antiseptic put on it. As I remember, I screamed the house down. Carefully put on a clean bandage, trying hard not to stick it to her fur. Suppose the medication comes next, doesn't it? What do we have here? Look through the drawers and find a box of pre-filled syringes labeled catatonic. Oh, I presumed you would be taking tablets, but of course, Professor said you have trouble with solids, don't you? Poor thing. Okay, same thing last time, don't shoot the injector. I hold the skin on the back of Ravenpaw's neck tight and go to inject it quickly to get over with, but the syringe is stiff and it takes a lot longer than expected. Again, the little cat makes no response, doesn't move a muscle, almost as if she can't feel it. Good girl, gosh, you're tough. You know, I bet you and McMurphy would get on like house on a fire. Ravenpaw's ears prick up as if she's heard a rattlesnake. McMurphy is one of the coolest people. I mean, I was a little wary at first, but he has that Irish charm that's so hard to resist. The tiny cat's head spins to look up at me. How do you know he's Irish? My head lurches into my throat. Have you got it? You have, haven't you? You're sick! You got the sickness! I have a million questions running through my head, but I'm unable to speak. Listen to me, human. You must help me. Suddenly jolt to my senses. I'm trying to help you, Ravenpaw. Please don't use that cream on me. It burns. It has given me these red patches. I know it hurts, but I have to rub it into your wounds. Those red patches will get dry and itchy and infected otherwise. No, please, I beg you, human, that stuff does not help. It doesn't. It hurts. I know it feels that way, but it's helping you, I promise. The professor has been caring for you so thoroughly since he found you. I'll get the sack if your treatment went downhill now. That man has only ever hurt me. I'm taken aback. The professor cares for you very much and only wants you to get better. Cat turns her face away as if she's given all hope. Pulls at my heartstrings, and I pause for a moment. I am gonna stop it. Even though that is the choice that I chose before on my first playthrough as well, but there are certain choices that you just can't make. There's certain ways that you get stuck in doing things in the game because otherwise it would just be too sad. Okay, I'm taking a big leap here. I'm gonna give you 5 days without the scream and see if any deterioration in your condition. I'll be back to a strict regime for you, Missy, and no complaints. Deal? Thank you, human. Ravenpaw is the mystery cat that you can date. And she's very sad if you do choose to date her. Yep, I'm ready. Everything's done. Everything. Baby cats. It's too early. The world isn't meant to be seen before 7 o'clock. These early mornings are still a shock to me, but I'm hitting my stride quicker. I like to get the kittens fed and cleaned out before my breakfast. It's easier to do it before the rest of the camp is awake, as there are less distractions. I prepare the mush and my stomach turns the milky smell so early in the day. I get the swab tray ready and grab a handful of kitty treats. Hello, babies! I peer into the cage of sleeping kittens. So cute. They're just waking up and ready for breakfast. I do a quick head count. 12! Good, no one tunneled out in the night. Come on then, let's get you swabbed and fed, nom nom. I grab the first sleepy kitten, no more than a ball of fluff. As it opens its mouth to yawn, I dart in with the swab to bottle it, and on to the next furball. You're getting good at this. Oh, Trix, you're up early. Going to bed late, actually. I keep swabbing, and in no time I've got all 12 little cats in the feeding cage and have begun cleaning out the sleeping area. Aw, cute! How long will they stay here for? Oh, I'm not sure. Generally, they're kept here for about 10 weeks, and then some are released back into the wild immediately, but some are moved to be examined further. I'm still getting the hang of it. It's a shame that they aren't all released, isn't it? Yes, I suppose so, but they're all released eventually, just some later than others. You think so? Well, yes, unless they're very poorly like Ravenpaw. Trixie winces at the mention of the black cat's name. Very few of those kittens actually get released into the wild, Doreen. What do you mean? Of course they do, as long as they're healthy. Oh, wow, and you know this, do you? You released them yourself? Well, no, but Professor Pawpaw told me that those kittens get discharged at between 10 to 12 weeks. Oh, I see. Trixie smiles, but it looks fake. If I were you, I'll tag one of the litter. Oh no, they're too young for tagging. You have to wait until they're at least 12 weeks. That one over there, he looks very healthy. I'm sure if you tagged him, you'll be able to see for yourself what happens to the healthy kittens. As I go to answer, I hear the breakfast bell in the distance. Oh, Cinderella has to fly. And the Calico Cat is gone quickly as she appeared. Come on then, kittens, let's get you back into a nice clean cage. I can't help but think about what Trixie has said. She seemed genuinely concerned, and there must be some basis for that. After all, she has been here a lot longer than me. Maybe tagging one of these kittens wouldn't be such a bad idea. What would be the harm? Come on then, back to... But before I even finish my sentence, my hand has grabbed the chipping pen and I've tagged the plum gray one nail. Probably silly, but it won't harm you and it could teach me something useful. My time on the island has come to an end. My research went well, and I can't help feeling like I missed out on something. I head to the jetty where the boat is waiting for me. Suppose no one wanted to come and see me off. Maybe I was too focused on my work. Maybe I should have spent more time getting to know the island's inhabitants. Oh well, it's too late now. I'm looking forward to returning to my old life. Strange, even after such a short time, I can't seem to remember much about my life before. Joe, the ferryman's son, helps me onto the boat. Morning, where are we off to? Looks at me suspiciously. Back home. You do know where your home is, don't you? Of course I do. I don't. For some reason in this moment I can't remember. Yeah, where then? This is so silly. How can I not remember my own house? Joe smiles. Don't worry, mate. You sit right there for a minute. Dad? Bob comes to join us onto the deck. Got a problem here, son? I reckon so. Can't even remember their own name. What? Yes, I can. It's... Before I can answer, the older man has pulled what looks like a gun from his coat and is aiming at me. What? It's not personal, Doreen. We just have to take precautions. Can't have any problems reaching the mainland, can we? Okay. So, getting off. How did I complete the recon? I didn't! Unless tagging a kitten counted as one or something. But... unless you catify on the island, it seems you get shot. You can't actually get home. Good to know! Keep that in mind. Now we have 2 people to play the game properly with. Oh joy! So see you on chapter 5.